You're listening to a podcast of Master Your Finances with me, Kurt Baker, a certified financial planner professional. Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on 1077thebronx.com.
Another day, another dollar, and our certified financial planner professional, Kurt Baker, will give you the tips you need to turn that single into a sea of green with Master Your Finances. Whether you have enough to get by or too much in your pockets, Kurt Baker and his weekly guests are here to show you how to manage it all. Master Your Finances is underwritten by Certified Wealth Management and Investment LLC. Now listen up, because it's time to get a hold of those money matters and master your finances.
Good morning and welcome back to another edition of Master Your Finances, presented by Certified Wealth Management and Investment. I am Kurt Baker, certified financial planner professional located in Princeton, New Jersey. I can be reached through our website, which is www.cwmi.us, or you can call me directly at 609-716-4700. And this week we have a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. As many of you know, we actually have a nonprofit we do that talks about youth mental health awareness and suicide prevention because we actually lost our son many years ago. And we believe that one of the reasons we lost him is that he was not sleeping well enough. And when he didn't sleep well enough, your brain doesn't have time to recoup, and has a very hard time functioning. And so today we have some experts with us, literally, who kind of taken this to heart and created a business out of it. And I want to introduce to you Debbie Pearce as well as Bart Zoni, who are from Chiromatic, which is a clinical sleeping company that is laser focused on making America healthier and wealthier by scientifically designed mattresses and sleep products, especially for people suffering with back and neck pain. Debbie and Bart are partners in Chiromatic and are the odd couple of the mattress industry. Okay, Debbie, with more than 30 years experience in fashion and bedding, knows the sleep industry inside and out. While Bart is an outsider to bedding and has a neuroscience background and 20 years experience in the pharmaceutical and medical device industries. And together they've completely reimagined what a mattress can be for your health and your life overall. They've recently launched a revolutionary new patent-pending technology called Loom Air 3D, as a game changer for sleeping with back or neck pain. So I find this a very interesting subject because I say this all the time. You hear these things like people sleep, a third of their life is sleeping and things like that. I just know it from personal experience, realizing that when you don't sleep well enough, you're not productive. You have a hard time, especially if you get sick more. You're not as productive at work. And I remember I had a guest on once that worked for Johnson & Johnson. They actually sent a memo around to Johnson & Johnson and said, please get more sleep. So when a large pharmaceutical company is telling its employees sleep more, there's a reason, right? I mean, they're all about the bottom line. So I'm just interested as to what connected you guys to this industry, because it is a little bit, it's one of those things that you kind of know about, but you're like, I don't know, you just buy a bed, you stick it in your room, and you sleep in it, right? So what kind of made you think that this was something important and did something about it?
Well, to be honest with you, it wasn't like that. It was sort of an inherited business for me.
Okay, all right.
I had been in the law business for a while, and I sort of inherited this little company that was attached to my ex's factory that he was a bedding manufacturer. So I was around it for 30 years and around all the manufacturers and, always aware of what they were doing, in the industry. So I had been around the industry enough, and when I decided to get out of law, I decided, okay, let me run this little company. And it turned out to be a real labor of love for me, because I did begin to realize that there were major issues and a major sleep deprivation epidemic in this country. It's pandemic. I mean, there are children that are not getting enough sleep all the way from the time that you're born to the time that you pass. Sleep is always an issue. And if you don't get enough, you can't perform. So I started to want to make better quality beds, and beds that were designed by chiropractors, and beds that had science and medical technology behind them. So when I met Bart, we looked at why, what the problem was with beds, that you have support, but you don't have pressure reduction in most beds. That was what the focus of the industry was on. So we decided to focus more on pressure reduction so that you would get a night's sleep and not feel any pain during that night's sleep. So that's how we started. We started researching how hospitals deal with decubitus, and that's how we came upon the technology.
Okay, so you realized that there was an issue. People weren't sleeping enough. You already had a bedding company, so you kind of knew how to make a bed, I'm assuming.
Right.
You're really good at that.
Yes.
But you decided maybe it's time to change it up, and it's been around a long time, right? So now it's time to go from the stagecoach into maybe the diesel-powered car, maybe. And now we're going to electric cars, and we're going to leave those behind, right? So, what connected you to the bedding, Bart? And you have a background. Obviously, it's not bedding. So what made you think, hey, maybe the bed's going to help? We have pharma and neuroscience, things like that.
There's not a lot of untapped frontiers in healthcare, right? If we have to see another ad for a weight loss supplement,
We're coming to that time of year.
I know, but sleep is really one of those frontiers that science is just figuring out, and everybody has a big health product in their bedroom that was made by a furniture company. Right?
Yeah.
And with sleep, it's not just quantity. It's like wine. Quality matters.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people who aren't sleeping well, not sleeping enough. They have a full night's rest and wake up tired. You know that feeling, right?
Oh, sure.
I slept for 8 hours and I feel terrible.
Well, I sleep well. My wife has this issue, so she gets very mad at me when I get a good night's sleep.
You toss and turn. So as somebody who really cares about public health, this is one of those things that I knew we could make a huge impact in by just making a better bed and looking at it as a medical product rather than a couch or something like that. And it really, that approach led us to making something incredibly different and that can change lives.
I agree with that. So you went to kind of typically you stay in a hospital, hopefully for only a couple of days, hopefully, not always. But yeah, those are pretty sophisticated beds, but they're also pretty expensive. So how do you blend that expertise? I mean, I don't even know what they cost, but I can imagine it's probably a big number. I'm just going to guess. And not everybody's going to put one of those in their house. So you want to supply that, that kind of technology, I guess, right? For something that actually looks nice too. I'm assuming they want it to look good.
You have to feel great, right? The
Right.
thing with mattresses and pillows, if you don't love it,
Right.
you're not going to sleep on it. So
Right.
we kind of went to the science and said, look, what are like the 5 things that your mattress has to do for you? It's like if you said this bed has a job, what is the job? And when you distill those 5 things and make a mattress that makes it perfect for that,
Right.
then you
Okay.
win. So here are the 5 things.
Here we go. This is what my mattress
Okay.
is supposed to be doing for me, right?
Number 1 is support. And
Okay.
that doesn't just mean supporting the parts of your body that push down on the bed most, which is your butt and your shoulders.
Right.
About 70% of your weight on a bad mattress
Okay.
are on your butt and your shoulders.
I guess say my butt's too big. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's the weight loss supplements issue, not ours. But it's got to support every part of your body, from
Got
your
it.
neck to your spine, the lumbar area, the places that don't
And the
get a lot
body's
of
not flat,
support.
but the mattress is.
The spine has a curve, right? You've seen those skeletons hanging at the
Sure.
doctor's office.
Absolutely.
The spine has a curve. Your mattress is flat.
Right.
So you have to get over that problem. The second thing is pressure relief. Like Deb said, if you ever had a dead arm where you lay down on the couch and you get up and your arm has the tingles.
Oh, sure, yeah, I've done that. Absolutely.
Or you get a Charlie horse, you can't feel your leg.
Yeah, yep.
Well, that's because you cut off circulation
Right.
and nerves to that part. Well, if you're sleeping and your bed is putting pressure on your shoulders or putting pressure on your hips,
Okay.
a little signal goes to your brain that says, hey, dude, wake up. You got to move.
But then aren't those two concepts counter each other, support and pressure relief?
That's what our
sounds
technology
like
is about.
it sounds interesting to me because you're trying to support me, but you're also saying relieve the pressure.
And so for the last, I saw George
we
Washington's
can
bed.
do both.
Right. And we move, right? So you're also moving.
Depending
Right.
on the part of the night, you're
Right.
either moving or perfectly still.
Right.
So from the beginning of time with mattresses, you had to choose between a soft mattress that relieved pressure
Okay.
or a firm mattress that was very supportive.
Right.
And we said, no, you can have both. And
Okay.
there's a new technology that we use called the spacer fabric. It's a really cool 3D mesh fabric that, depending on what part of your body is on it, it's either going to give you extra support or a little give. So
Okay.
it don't matter if you're on your back, if you're on your side, if you're moving around, if your dog, you got an old dog with
How
bad
does
hips.
it know? I'm curious. I mean, how does it know? How's it that smart?
Well, it has a property called point elasticity, which is
Okay.
a physical property of the fabric. And
Okay.
to me, the best inventions today aren't technology, digital. This is just a plain physical item that, through really, really clever weaving of these
Okay.
materials, it has this magical property.
Okay.
And it was engineered in Germany. They developed it initially for aerospace. You can
I
find
was going to say, we had to go in space with this. Is what
Yeah,
it sounds
I mean,
like next.
spacer fabrics
Go
are
to
in
space
space.
at some point.
And some companies put these on the outside of a mattress because they look cool, and we said,
Oh.
let's put them inside.
Right.
And we developed a system with these that gives you that property that it works with you. And now your body
Okay.
is kind of, if you're moving around, it moves with you.
Interesting.
If you need to be still, you get that pressure relief on your shoulders, but you get the support on your lumbar spine. And chiropractors looked at this and went, guys, this is what our patients need. And it really
Okay.
changed the game in terms of back pain. And that's
So
why
you're
we're
feeling
here.
more like you're suspended. I mean, what do I just visualize was like a salt bath, which I've never done, but I just heard about.
It does feel a
That's
little
what people
bit
tell me.
weightless.
They
It
tell
does
me that
feel
kind of
weightless.
suspends you, is what I was told the effect is. So this is like reminding me what somebody explained to me when they do one of these, like, of course, you can't sleep in one of those. It might not be good for you.
It does feel very weightless. I mean, that is the
Interesting.
point of it. It's supposed to kind of make you feel light.
Okay,
Like,
interesting.
you know, our industry has borrowed a lot from NASA through the years. I mean,
Yeah.
memory foam came from them too, you
People
know?
forget how much we got out of the space program. Being somebody who grew up with the space program, there's a lot that came out of that. Yeah, absolutely.
But thank God, because we spent a lot of money on it,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure,
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
to get that benefit.
There's a chiropractor out in New York who just recently purchased the bed, and he called me. He goes, Bart, I'm going to take a nap on the bed. He just got it in his house. I'm going to call you in an hour. So I get a phone call. He goes, the bed cuddled me, and that's the sensation.
You find these on Match.com? Is that what you're telling me?
We definitely have a match profile. The bed does not like long walks on piers.
All right.
It does love to cuddle.
It doesn't want to be romantic.
All right. Okay. So there. Okay. So cool. So you have these two counteracting forces. You had 5 items. So you got what? A couple more going, right?
Temperature control.
Temperature. Okay.
And this is why, there's,
Two couples never have the same temperature,
well,
is what I've found.
that much is true.
One's cold, one's hot,
The
right?
thermostat issue, right?
I mean,
But I can tell you this, the human body needs to cool down in order to sleep the right way. So you have these stages of sleep, and your body has to cool its core temperature,
Right.
or you don't get productive sleep.
Right.
So 22% of the folks out there right now are sleeping on memory foam.
Okay.
And memory foam is heat activated. That's how it works. So it's really hard. Your body fights the memory foam to cool down its core.
Right.
So the beauty of these spacer fabrics is they're 90% air. So you get a lot of
Okay.
airflow, and you're able to actually sleep 4 to 5 degrees cooler on a hot night on our Chiromatic mattress. And I think that's part of the science of sleep versus the technology of a mattress.
Right. Well, yeah, that's fantastic. So we got the first 3 down.
That
So
we
we're
did.
going to be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to Master Your Finances. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finances. Kurt Baker here with Debbie Pearce and Bart Zoni. And we've been going through the 5 things that the mattress must do. And so Bart said it has to support you, and you want to have pressure relief. So those are kind of counteracting forces, but you were explaining this fabric that you have that's very interesting, kind of a 3D deal.
which,
And
by
then-
the way, is made out of recycled plastic, so it's
so
eco-friendly.
we're saving the
also.
planet at the
Yes,
same time.
That's right. You got
Save
it.
the planet while you sleep. I like that.
That's
That's a good
right.
way to do it.
I like that. Can we use that
That's
one?
even easier than recycling. I don't even have to separate anything. I just lay it out on the bed. I'm good to go, right?
That's right.
And
There
then,
you go. We're watching out for the planet.
and then temperature control, which I guess you explained. This particular fabric has a lot of airspace in it, so it helps to adjust the temperature to you, as opposed to memory foam, which is much more solid. So of course it's going to absorb more, right? And that just makes sense. That's just basic thermodynamic kind of stuff, right?
That's right. And of course, you always see cool memory foam being advertised, and it's because you do chemical additives to make it cool to the touch when you start. But it's in the middle of the night that really matters. And
Okay.
you can't beat physics.
Right. Physics is good. I like physics when it's working with us. Okay, so those are the first 3 things. So what are the other 2 areas you want to talk about?
And the other one is important to the chiropractors, and that's spinal alignment.
Yeah.
There's that curve, and everybody's seen a skeleton, and your spine has a curve. And the bed has to be able to adapt to that curve, whether you're on your side or on your back, or for the unfortunate folks that sleep on their bellies. And our chiropractors always try
On
to
your belly.
discourage them from doing that.
I don't know if I've ever done that. I guess you can.
A
It sounds uncomfortable to me.
lot of people kind of roll around throughout the night.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure I move around.
Well, science
sleep too
tells us
solid.
that we move 689 times on average a night.
689
Yes.
times? That's a lot.
And there's a very interesting reason why. Because
Why?
when Bart was mentioning earlier the science of sleep. So this is the science of sleep. Your body needs to cool down at least 3 degrees in order to make growth hormone and the other hormones that your body creates in order to get recovery. So when you work during the day and you're at your computer or you're doing whatever you're doing or you're fixing a car, whatever you do for a living, you're going to tear muscles and tissue during the course of the day. And whatever needs to recover, your body is a really well-oiled machine and knows how to do that.
Okay.
So it cools itself down, creates these hormones, and then gets the hormones to where they need to go. So the two processes need to happen, the cooling and then transferring the growth hormones and the recovery hormones that your body creates to the places that it needs to go to recover and fix those tissues. And
That's
those
fantastic.
muscles that you've messed up during the day.
I didn't realize the temperature went down 3 degrees. That's a lot.
Yes.
3-degree reduction in
It's
your
a big
temperature?
ask.
Wow, that's a big difference. Interesting.
So the next part of this then is that when you're moving 689 times a night, freedom of movement is required for you to get that growth hormone where it needs to go. Your body knows how to tick it into there. So if you see a little kid sleeping, for example, and his finger is twitching, it's because the growth hormone is going to, or whatever hormones, there are many others as well, but the hormones are going to recover that something in that area.
So when your spouse complains about you moving around, say, just my growth hormones need to get where they need to go, right?
There you go.
I blame it on my growth hormones.
So we're not talking about thrashing around in the bed
all
like
right.
that
Small
kind
motions.
of 600. We're
okay.
talking about small
So-
little movements
Gotcha.
that the body knows are designed to make this.
Wow, it's a pretty
these
amazing
chemicals.
machine, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's that. So once you understand the science of sleep, then you know that you need to stay within it, and you need to have something that is cooling and that is supportive, and so that's where we got these 5 criteria from.
Okay. All right, so now we got our spines aligned, which, of course, I mean, that's common sense, right? But then I guess it's not as easy to do as people think. I mean, you see all kinds of ads on TV with the pillows where your neck's doing this, and all kinds of, I see an ad every day, it seems like, about that, right?
Well, every ad that you see, there's someone laying on their side and they draw a straight line.
Right.
And they say, this mattress is great at aligning
Right.
your spine.
Right.
Well, the real thing is your spine has a curve to it. So
Right.
depending
Sure.
on your position, you have to support that curve in that position.
Right.
Because your chiropractor, especially if you're in chiropractic care, it's like 30 million people see a chiropractor.
That's a lot.
The chiropractor's working to make that curve of your spine just right.
Right.
And then you lay on a flat mattress that's working against them. And so you take that investment in your health and you throw it out the window. So that part of the mattress is really, really important.
So how does it help with the alignment of the spine? Is it part of that?
So if you're laying in your bed and you're looking at someone laying down in a bed, the bed should be filling up the areas of the spine that are curved.
Okay.
So it should be filling the small of your back and the back of your knees and the areas that are slightly higher than the other areas in your body. So if it does that filling, then it's a proper supportive pressure reducing mattress.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm learning a lot here. Okay. So now my spine is in good shape. My temperature's in good shape. I got the 2 forces acting against each other just right. So what's the 5th one?
The 5th one is the PhD level thing, and that's the art because it has to be comfortable.
Okay.
If you don't love your mattress, it doesn't matter how supportive it is or how much.
Okay.
You have to love the way that it feels. And one of the things that Deb taught me coming into the industry was, that last 2 or 3 inches of the mattress is for the customer. So we developed the mattress to take care of their body, and we can customize what goes on top of the bed to make it feel exactly the way that you want it. And so by doing that, my wife and I'll give you this example. She likes a really soft feel. I like it a little firmer. We're never going to get a bed that we both love.
Right.
So we have the Chiromatic mattress. On her side, she has a little bit of down. And
Okay.
on my side, I have about an inch of a little bit of a firmer latex. So
that's the mattress itself is slightly
right on
different?
top of the mattress.
Oh, on top. So it's a topper.
Yep.
Is that the right word?
That's what we're calling it.
I'm just guessing.
So we're adjusting the top
Okay.
of the bed. So
Okay.
we're both taking care of our health by sleeping on the mattress, but her side's a little softer, my side's a little firmer. We're both happy.
Okay. All right. So you got to make it. Well, yeah. If you don't love your bed, you're not going to sleep as well. Correct.
That's the way to do it.
Okay. So now we have these 5 pieces together, and we're recycling. So we're being conscious about the environment as well while we're sleeping, which I kind of like. That's a nice little benefit. So what else have you guys learned as far as what people need and like how you created a whole business out of this, right? So you're actually focused on helping people do better with their health.
Right, and
so,
teaching even the doctors and the chiropractors
Right.
and the healthcare practitioners about not just the importance of sleep. There's 2 things that we have to understand. Sleep is tremendously important for performance. It's the difference between a gold medal and 0. if you sleep 8 hours, that 1 second is the difference between winning that swimming meet or not winning it and going home with nothing,
Correct.
It's 1 second of performance that you got right there that is the difference between gold and nothing right there. So that's what sleep does, performance. So without that, it's a crisis, not to
Right.
have it. So
what are some of the responses you get? So I'm envisioning like a multiple level. Like people are going to say, yeah, I get this. It's great. Other people are going, I'm not so sure. So do you find anybody on either side where they actually tried it? What are some stories behind people experiencing kind of this new wave of just not buying the mattress that I'm used to envisioning, so to speak?
I have kids, 3 and 4
Right.
years old.
Okay.
Right? And if left to them, all they would eat is candy. Right? You try a piece of chocolate, it's the best food you ever had. All they would eat is candy.
It's only a couple hours later when they don't feel sick. When they feel sick.
So part of what we have to do is education, because you can
Right.
go into a mattress store and hop onto the softest bed in the store, and for a minute, it's going to feel really good.
Okay.
And I promise you then, 3 months later, your back is going to hurt.
Okay.
So part of our job is educating people on not just beds, but the whole sleep process. Like,
Right.
what do you have to do in your bedroom? How about a ritual before you go to sleep? What are the things I have to do to sleep better and feel better? So I think being a health-focused company is different than, you sign the credit card bill and away you go.
Right.
We really take the time to work with our customers and teach them about how to sleep.
Okay.
And when they lay on the bed, we'll do pressure analysis of their back. We have a special machine to do that. We'll talk to them about the positions that they lay in. We'll customize a pillow for them. The Chiromatic pillow is customizable in terms of height. So somebody feels like they're a part of our family and that we're really doing something consultative versus just selling them something.
Right.
And when you add those things together, you have the mattress, you teach them don't have your phone in the bed. Blue light wakes you right up, so you're not going to get great sleep. Or if you're going to listen to something, listen to a CD, because your brain knows what to anticipate. If you're listening to a playlist and you don't know what the next song is, your brain's on high alert, waiting to see what's next.
Okay.
Don't do bills before you go to sleep. You're going to go to sleep stressed. Doing bills before you go to sleep is enough. The same thing as losing 2 hours of sleep. Because of the cortisol levels, doing bills makes everybody stressed. That.
No, I'm
Finance,
laughing.
right?
I'm like, I would never do my bills before I went to bed.
if you have to have an argument with your spouse, don't go to bed angry. There's a reason for that, because your state of mind is so important. So we talk to people about their environment, the bedroom, their rituals, and how to sleep better, and then kind of guide them through that process of getting onto the mattress and their first month, which is a bit of a journey, right?
Okay.
Your body grows accustomed to the mattress and the sleep system, and you're getting used to how your life is changing. And after a week, you feel a little bit better. After 2 weeks, you find you have more energy. After 3 weeks, a lot of that the lower back pain that you woke up with is you're not feeling that, and you feel like you could do more. So our job is to guide people through that process and what to expect. And so we're an education company that sells sleep products. And that's really, I think, different than anything out there right now.
And to the point that I was saying before, that the education also, the core thing is not just that sleep is so important, but that the bed is so critical to sleep. That's the second piece that most people don't really understand, that if you don't have a good supportive bed, your muscles are lazy in the soft, messed up bed. And then when you get the good one, your muscles are now activated in a different way. So it feels like you went to the gym for 2 weeks. In the beginning, because all new muscles are working during the middle of the night while you're moving 689 times.
I never would have thought of that.
So of course it's going to feel different, and it's going to feel like the first 2 weeks at the gym. But that pain that you have in the first 2 weeks of the gym is going to result in a benefit, and that's what we need to teach people, that you have to get through the first 2 weeks for it to feel good, and it will.
Oh, that's fascinating. So I guess the bed you sleep in might feel a little, like you talked about the soft bed, right? So that might be, I guess it's going to just get you're not going to be supportive, right? Is what it
You're
sounds
stuck
like.
in a hole and fighting to get out all
If
night.
it's old,
Right.
it's not supporting you.
Right,
So
right,
if
right.
it's old, it also has millions, probably 10 pounds of salt that are being eaten by dust mites every night also in it.
Oh, that sounds
So
lovely.
there's a few other issues that you might want to worry about.
Nothing good about an old mattress.
Okay, all right. I guess
Right, it's pretty gross. And when you tell that to people, they go, "Oh my God, are you kidding? I have to replace it right now."
Oh my word. So people have come in, I guess, got the mattress and what? So you developed this thing. How long did it take you to develop it? It sounds like a little bit of time to.
A year, right?
Oh wow.
We worked on it for a year, yeah.
Okay. So when you were testing it and people were trying it, so what were some of the reactions you got to this as you started to develop it?
Well, we were testing also the pressure and everything
Okay.
between that and all the other foams on the market. And this bed was 35% less, better at pressure reduction than memory foam even, which is one of the best materials that we have in the industry
Right.
for pressure. So, there's nothing like it on the market at all.
Okay.
So people do feel weightless when they lay on it, and they do feel better. They wake up in the morning without pain. That's the gig,
Right.
Even if it doesn't feel exactly perfect the way you would have thought, if you wake up without pain, you've done the deed.
That's a good day, right? Absolutely.
You've done the deed.
When you release a product out into the world, it's always you hold your breath, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious,
that
like, how
first
this went.
call.
Yeah.
So one of the very, very first mattresses went to a mother-in-law of one of the chiropractors that we work with, a really great guy in Skillman. And I just remember, I lost sleep because I'm like, I really hope she likes it, because if I ruin the relationship between one of our partners and his mother-in-law, that's a bad deal. And the call came, and it was one of those calls. You're like, oh, do I answer this? Do I go to voicemail?
Which way is this going to go? Am I ready?
Right? And
We're
he
not
said
giving the money back.
that she hadn't slept without discomfort in years and years.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first night, and that was one of those success stories where on the first night she woke up different than she had for years and years before. And when I heard that, I remember I called Deb and I said, Deb, this is it. We've got something here. And we hear a lot of stories like that. Another customer called me and said, hey, I just want you to know I'm walking my dogs. And I was like, wonderful. How can I help you? No, you don't understand. I'm walking my dogs.
Wow.
And sure, are there folks that have slept on an incredibly hard spring bed their entire lives, and they call that first day and said, I don't like it.
Oh.
And we say, look, you've got 100 nights. We offer a 100-night sleep trial. So,
Okay.
sleep on it. We're there to take care of you. And
We encourage you to sleep on it for at least 30 days before you make a decision as to
Right.
whether or not you like it, because of what I discussed earlier
Right.
with the muscles and the different ones being used.
And so
That's
that's
fine.
what you get. I don't like it because it's just not my old bed. You're like, well, you bought a new bed. It's going to be different.
Right. So it takes a little bit of time to
Yeah,
adjust.
give us some time here.
Absolutely. So you're listening to Master Your Finances. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finances. I am Kurtis Baker here with Debbie Pearce and Bart Zoni, and we're talking about basically having a new mattress that's kind of designed more to adjust the temperature, have the right support, and pressure relief, and really kind of take care of you from a chiropractic standpoint and align your spine up and things like that, which is important. And I just know, through my work, that sleep is really, really, really important for people that own a business, whether it's children. The better you sleep, the more productive you are during the day. In fact, we preach this all the time, because we'll go into schools, we'll talk to kids, and we'll say, especially when you get into middle school, high school, you say, how many hours of sleep you're getting? And they'll be 4 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours. And we're like, and they're supposed to be getting 10 to 12 these ages. And we're like, that's just not enough. And the hard part is first you have to convince the kids, and then you have to really convince the parents that if your children sleep the right amount, they're actually going to be more productive and do better in school. And somehow that's starting to happen in some districts, but a lot of people just aren't understanding that if you don't allow the brain to develop, you don't allow them physically, mentally, and all these things to happen, they're just not going to be as productive long term. And so it's really, really important. And I know it's important for businesses. So what kind of information do you guys have as far as what you've seen from an economic side? I know what I've seen. So,
Well, so with chiropractors, we always say sleep is health, but
Right.
in reality, sleep is wealth.
Right.
And there's a direct connection. One of the coolest studies I've seen, and gosh, this was done in 2016, and they did a study in Williams College, and they took folks and studied them over a long period of time. And they found that 1 hour of sleep is worth a 5% raise in income over your career. Now, I don't know if you have a good financial planner.
That's a good way to present it.
I mean, think about what you make now. Add 5%. Invest that with somebody that knows what they're talking about, and you've retired with a lot of zeros. Mm-hmm. And that's just an hour extra sleep a night.
And I agree with that, because if people are really honest with themselves, when you do one of these like workaholic type processes, when you go to work and you're working 8-10 hours, you're actually not as productive if you got a good night's sleep and went to work for 6 hours and actually did the work. Because there's a lot of slippage there. There's a lot of wasted time in there when you're not actually thinking effectively and clearly and things like that. I think if people are really honest with themselves and start trying this, they will see that they're more productive.
And there's also with a positive outlook. Like, as you know, people that have a positive outlook in general are the ones that get the raise. They're the ones that get the promotion. They're the ones that excel in their field. Like a salesperson who's grumpy isn't going to be selling a lot, right?
Rarely.
And lack of sleep is clearly connected to your emotional well-being, your weight, your body type, your
it actually
muscle
helps with
tone.
weight control. Yeah, I forgot about that one. It actually helps you with your weight as well. Yeah, true.
So Deb was talking about the hormones before. There's actually a hormone that the body creates at night. And if you get less than 7 hours of sleep, it'll increase your appetite by 23%. So,
really?
So they did a study, and there's over a third of obese children is directly related to sleep disruption, because you create a natural appetite suppressant while you sleep.
Right.
And you know the cost of obesity and the cost, the healthcare costs associated with that. I mean, just from sleep alone, you're talking about, and we have the numbers here, $411 billion a year in lost wages, lost work days, disability, and direct costs. That's a lot of billions.
That would help balance the budget
directly.
too.
Yeah. I mean, if we could just claw a little bit of that back.
Right.
So
sure.
At the end of the day, it's quality and quantity. But if you have a good ritual, you go to sleep around the same time, just within the same hour most nights. You keep the room dark, stay away from artificial and blue lights. So I don't know.
No more Facebook in the middle of the night, right?
So if you have to use your cell phone, there's a feature on every cell phone called a night light, and it makes your screen kind of look a little orange. What that's doing is it's filtering out the wavelengths of light that tell you wake up.
Right.
Because 10,000 years ago, we didn't have artificial lights. The sun told you to wake up. And there's certain wavelengths that told your body it's time to go. And then when it got dark, you had the moon and nothing else. And
there's no night lights.
Time to go to sleep.
Right.
Well, you look at your phone for 5 seconds, and it brings you completely out of your sleep, and it brings you completely into a wakeful state. So do that with your cell phone. Keep the lights dim. Go to sleep around the same time. Have a great bed. If you do those things, you're going to earn more money in your lifetime. I mean, that's pretty simple stuff. You can make more money in your sleep.
We have to try it. I mean, honestly, I think that's the way, people, it's like anything, right? It's like pretend like it's a diet or something. Just try it and give yourself a time period to try something like this. Because I know I've adjusted since we had the issues with our son, is that we've been very focused on getting good sleep and getting like the routines and all these things. And honestly, I feel significantly better. And it also changes, what I found is actually changed like what I want to eat and things. So the things I'm wanting to eat are actually healthier. It's kind of it's very odd to me, but it's real. I mean, it really does happen if you give it enough time. It doesn't happen like overnight.
Correct.
I think that's when people have to say, "Oh, I did that 2 nights and I should be fine." But it doesn't happen quite that fast.
In a week, you'll feel different. And
right.
unlike other health things that, look, taking your hypertension medication doesn't make you feel better. Right. So it's hard to get people to do that. And I've done health education for my career. With sleep, and especially if you have a doctor, and the doctor says, "Look, give me a week. I'm going to see you next week. Sleep right for a week and tell me how you feel." It's completely self-reinforcing.
There you go.
And that's a big issue, too, because what we're trying to do is educate the educators and the physicians on how important it is to sleep and to have a good bed to sleep.
So how has it been with the professionals? Like, I know sometimes when we talk to professionals, they're focused on their little area.
Right. So you hear
They have
all
an
this stuff
expertise
about
here.
the rituals, and you hear all kinds of things about other ways to get more sleep.
Right.
And they never mention, do you need a new bed? Is your bed a supportive, good bed for sleep? Is it supporting your spine? Is it in alignment? Is it cooling you down? Is it doing what it needs to do in order for you to recover at night?
Okay.
And part of it came down to choices. When we've done surveys with chiropractors and we have counsels that help us with these things, they believe very firmly that you can't heal if you don't sleep.
Right.
But what was there to do? I mean, before a product like this is available, is just go to the store and find one that you like. Mm-hmm. So I think what we've done is made that conversation more productive, because you can talk about sleep and you can say, and by the way, here's something you can do. Try this. Mm-hmm. And by offering a product that can link something they know works.
Right.
But before that, what choices were there? Go to the store with the acoustic ceiling tiles. They've got 50 beds there. Bounce from bed to bed and pick one.
Right.
And it's a little bit different now. And so we've offered the opportunity for their patients to come in and be treated like VIPs, to talk about their health and set them up with not only a new product, but a new way to look at sleep. And that's kind of a good partnership for us.
Well, I know you talked about, because I'm thinking about now the shoe place now. When I went to get my shoes last time, they actually put my foot on the little machine and they pressure ties. So now I'm envisioning this because what you said before was you go in on a bed and you lay on, this one feels good, but that's not necessarily the right one for you a month from now.
Exactly.
Right?
And now we have the technology to see that.
So I'm curious, can you tell me a little bit more about how that technology works and how you kind of help people determine which one might, or how it might be best to set it up for you as an individual?
Sure. One of the big things is you see the hot spots. And so the hardest thing is getting somebody to come in and lay the way they lay when they're sleeping, because everybody's a little self-conscious.
I guess you would be.
So having our experience center, and we're building an experience center in Morristown, New Jersey right now. It's more quiet, more private. It's more consultative. You can have some time alone. It's more one-on-one. So you don't feel kind of on display.
All right, that's probably a good thing.
You're not sitting in the window and people walking by watching you take a nap.
I mean, you can come in and have
Your
a
boss
cookie,
walks
a cup
by.
of coffee.
What are they doing here?
we give you something to eat, a cup of coffee, whatever you need, and we sit down and talk first, and then we show you mattresses and pressure.
And really, that 3 minutes getting to know somebody makes them comfortable enough to lay the way they would normally lay in the bed. And then I could look at the pressure map. And when you look at that pressure map, you can see whether they have an issue at the neck, an issue at the shoulder. Some people might have scoliosis. And through experience and through the algorithms that we've built, we really know if, for example, our Vitality mattress is right for them, whether we need to soften up the top, or whether we might move them into a custom mattress where we can build every layer specific for somebody if they have a unique issue.
Okay.
And so really that piece of information, talking to somebody and getting to know them and understanding how they sleep and how their body interacts with the mattress, lets us make an informed decision. And that decision is thoughtful and not just kind of cranked out of a machine.
Right. So you do a little bit of testing. You do a little bit. So there's verbal feedback and there's physical feedback. That's fantastic. You've been listening to Master Your Finances, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to Master Your Finances. I am Kurt Baker here with Debbie Pearce, as well as Bart Zoni with Chiromatic. And we've been talking a lot about like the bed and how important the bed is, and kind of suspending yourself, in the right temperature and everything. But one thing I know I've seen a lot of lately are pillow commercials, and I feel like every 3 minutes I'm seeing a pillow commercial sometimes. But so I was just curious about how that fits into the. I guess it's really a system, right? You need all the pieces of this to work. So how important is the pillow? And with all the ads that I'm seeing, what is the right way to get a pillow, I guess, would be my question.
Well, I think that our overall approach to the customer is that we're not just selling you a bed.
Right.
We're making a sleep system that works for you, that is the ideal sleeping environment for you to get the best night's sleep that you can. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So there are several components that go into that sleep system. There may be an adjustable base, because science tells us that 20 degrees up in the legs and up in the back relieves pressure on the spine. So that's a good thing for people to have. And it helps for GERD, and there's a lot of benefits to having an adjustable base. So maybe we put them in an adjustable base if that's something that's needed. Maybe we add a topper or a pillow that's adjustable to the height, and you actually fit people into a pillow. Mm-hmm. A pillow is not something that you just buy, and it can just be anything. The material and the fitting of the pillow and the exact pillow height determines whether or not the spine stays in the right curvature and the right alignment. So every component of a sleep system is important to the person getting the best quality sleep they can.
Okay, so you have to adjust the pillow. Because, I mean, I see these commercials where I know the commercial I'm thinking, well, this pillow puts your head up too high, this puts it up too low, and it twists that way. But what you're actually saying is you need to adjust it to that person.
You can
Right.
take out components from the inside of it. Like,
Okay.
So it's filled with things, and you can take out components. And so we have 2 different models of pillows. Bart, you can explain exactly.
Well, I think for myself, I had spent a total of maybe $100 on pillows my whole life, and that was
Right.
probably for 10 different pillows because, oh look, there's a pillow in the supermarket.
sale on the
I
way
need
out,
a
right?
supermarket. And the reality is, the vast majority of people in the country are sleeping on inexpensive pillows, and they don't like them. And so in an average household, you've got 20, 22 pillows sitting around. You can make a great fort for the kids.
Right.
But the reason spamming TV with pillow commercials is very few people are happy with their pillow.
Okay.
And I brought one into studio before. The first
Right.
thing you said was,
It's really heavy.
Yeah.
I was like surprised how heavy. I never felt a pillow was quite that heavy before.
and that's the difference between real quality materials
Okay.
like natural latex, or we use what's called a siliconized fill, which is down alternative that has a silicone coating to keep it nice and cool.
Okay.
And so it gives it a nice slip. But the technology inside the pillow can be wonderful, but if you don't love it,
Right.
it's going back in the closet.
Right.
And so when we did a little bit of research, we found women are more likely to like a downy, squishy pillow. Guys are more likely to like a bit of a firm pillow.
Okay.
I'm on the firm pillow side. I don't
All
know.
right.
How about you? Are you a soft,
I'm
squishy
a squishy
pillow?
girl.
Well, I kind of adjust it so I guess it ends up being firm, but I adjust it so it's the right level of my neck.
So you make a bit of a roll
Yeah,
at
I
the
kind of
end.
tuck it and I fill it so it's just the right height.
And my
kinda
wife
deal.
is still using the pillow from when she was 9 years old and travel with
Oh,
it
I was
on
at least 10 or
airplanes.
11 when I got my pillow.
Puts it on one of our
Isn't
pillows.
that amazing? I mean, I have to say that my whole life, nobody even mentioned that I should get a new pillow ever. I slept with the same pillow from the day I was born till the day I left.
I never really think about it. Right?
Never even thought that a pillow was even important. But I can tell you that if it's too high for me, I wake up with neck pain. I can't turn my head when I
Right.
wake up in the morning.
Wow.
So it has to be the right loft for you. It has to keep the spine in the right alignment.
So the way
That's
we looked
key.
at it was this. Every chiropractic or pain-related pillow that we've seen has been made out of molded foam. And not a lot of people like molded foam.
Okay.
So what we did is we looked at materials that would be able to support the head, keep the spine perfectly straight the way it's supposed to be, and
Fill up the space in
allow
the
you
neck.
to adjust it.
Right.
Because my neck, I've got a long neck and my spine is straight. Chiropractor's working on it.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
the next person might have a shorter neck and sleep on their side. So the height that somebody needs could change based on the season. It could change
Oh,
based
interesting.
on how they're sleeping.
Based on whether or not they're getting chiropractic care and they're getting better, then they actually need a lower pillow.
Oh, interesting.
They start higher and go lower, actually.
So our philosophy is let somebody dial in the comfort, offer pillows that offer a range of feels. We have one that has a down shell, one that has a natural latex fill, and you can adjust it. And if it gets tired after a year, give us a call. We'll send you some more fill. You've got a brand new pillow.
Okay.
And so understanding there's an art and a science to it, you can have a pillow that can last you a very, very long time. You won't be paying attention to TV commercials. You won't be at Bed Bath & Beyond doing the squeeze test.
Okay.
Because when you wake up feeling good and when you go to sleep feeling that ah factor, makes people really, really happy. So pillows are fun because that's where you get to be creative and do some really cool stuff.
Okay. Is that why we're seeing all these commercials? Because people aren't really happy with their pillows? Is that
Very few
that
people
fair?
are happy with their pillows.
okay?
And don't even realize what options are even out there. And so we have zippers inside, on the inside and a zipper
Right.
compartment inside that you can actually take the fill out and adjust.
So you're
it to the
literally
right.
customizing it yourself.
Yes.
Is
So
it too
we're
much,
allowing
too little?
the chiropractors also that treat these patients to fit their patients properly into the pillows, and we teach them how to do it, so that they can make sure
makes a
that
lot
the
of sense.
alignment is proper, and so they know how to actually, fit people into sleep
Right,
systems.
right.
Here's the trick, and this came from a family member of mine. If most pillows feel great the first 30 seconds,
Okay.
and when you wake up, it's flat. So
Right.
the trick for us was finding a material where you can go to bed feeling like heaven, and you wake up and the pillow's just the same.
Okay.
It all night support. So when somebody says the first 30 seconds was great, but the last 30 seconds was great too, that's when we knew we had a winner. And that's what everybody should expect for themselves. You have to love it when you put your head down, and when you wake up, it should be the same support, should be in the same place, and you should love it just as much as when you put your head down.
And everybody is loving it. I mean, we're getting such feedback on this pillow. We can't keep it in stock. I mean, it's just running out the door so fast. We're ordering it by the ton already, and it's just going out the door. People are like, oh, I love it. I want one for my friends. I'm going to buy it for Christmas for this person, for
Well,
that
it's probably a
person.
good time of year, right?
Everybody is.
It's a great time.
Everybody is energized about it. And we've now come out with a second one, which is also interesting. So we have an outer shell that's made of down, and then you can put different inner fillings into it. So you can put either a molded pillow in it with a down around shell, or you can put a squishy pillow in it with the down around shell.
Okay.
And you can adjust the loft also in that one. So you can put different things in it to make it actually a different pillow and a different feel depending on what the patient needs or the person needs that's sleeping on it. And that's really interesting. And
Yeah, I never
and
would have
fun.
dreamed like having these different configurations.
But they're great, and they feel like heaven, and people love them. It's just so fun.
And if it's
really.
not just right,
Yeah.
there's a chiropractor in the office where my kids go to the doctor. Right?
Right.
I always tell my kids, where you go to get shots. Well,
Yep.
we have someone that we work with there, and he called and said the pillow's too soft. It's not for me. I said, hang on. I hopped in the car. I had the firm piece with me. Just
Okay.
hopped in the car. 5 minutes down the road, knocked on the door. I said, okay, here it is. Unzipped it, put the new piece in. The next morning, this is perfect.
There you go.
And that's how it works. You really, that level of service,
Right.
where someone can call us and say, there's something not quite right, or I like it, but it would be great if. And at the end of this process, you have every night the opportunity to feel great in the morning, to feel great at work, to feel great talking with your family, spending time with your family, not worrying about waking up tired, not worrying about waking up in pain.
Less
And
depressed and much skinnier, too.
It's a whole
Well,
new
yeah,
ball.
that's kind of that helps, right? It all helps. It all kind of fits together. I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like sleeping is really important. So I never thought of like this whole system, right? And I think it's interesting how you're customizing each piece. So you talk about that, the experience system and experience. What's
the
it called?
Experience Center.
Center.
Right.
There
And
you go.
you're
The
talking to a
Experience
real
Center.
person, and
Right.
you're having a private appointment and a consultation where you're discussing your medical situation and
Right.
exactly what your needs are, and people are paying attention to you. And after the bed is sold, we're calling you and still paying attention to you and making sure that you're okay.
Right.
So it's a very customized, very personalized experience.
Well, it's good. You kind of recognize that one size really does not fit all, especially when it comes to sleeping. We all have different opinions, different things that we need, and it takes a little bit of time to actually understand it. And then you can make those little adjustments later on. So I guess the way to reach you guys is the website is chiromatic.com, right? And anything else you want to say as we wrap up? But that's just been fantastic. Get a good night's sleep is always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, be healthy, sleep well, and we hope to hear from everybody.
Absolutely. Well, you've been listening to Master Your Finances, and I am Kurt Baker, a certified financial planner professional. You can reach us through the website, which is where the podcast is. You can subscribe as masteryourfinances.us. And remember that together we can master your finances so you can enjoy financial peace of mind.